Hey, what's up guys, Andrew here, welcome back to another video. This time around, Battlefield announced some unexpected patch notes. I was absolutely not anticipating them releasing a patch coinciding with the mid-season event, but I suppose I don't remember if they typically do release updates with mid-season events. But this is the first update in a while that I would actually consider to be overall a negative update. And I say overall a negative update because there are definitely some positive things in here. Actually, there's some great changes in here, but the negatives definitely outweigh those few great changes. So we're going to jump into things. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you enjoyed watching my finals video, let me know if you want to see more finals content. So, Battlefield 2042 update 6.1.0 deploys on October 31st. This obviously directly coincides with the mid-season event. I will not be going over the mid-season event in this video. Instead, I have a full dedicated video to the mid-season event that comes out tomorrow. This update focuses on an improved end-of-round screen, and it also focuses on improving the Tor tank because they felt they over-nerfed it in the last patch. The improvements to the end-of-round screen will essentially allow you to see who the best squad is, what vehicle they used if they did use a vehicle to achieve that best squad status. And alongside those changes, you can now see your own contributions to the squad, just as you've been able to see before, but apparently they have amplified this in some way. Maybe we'll be able to see 2 or 3 things we've done instead of just 1. Moving on to the patch notes themselves, I'm going to start with the AI Soldier and General Improvements section. There is essentially nothing worth mentioning in this entire section. I suppose I will mention they fixed the vehicle deploy option being present despite there being no vehicles on the map. That was slightly irritating for some people, so that has been fixed, but generally in this section, it is just a bunch of miscellaneous changes that nobody will notice at all. Moving on to the maps and modes section, on Redacted, they have fixed the out-of-bounds bug with the biodome areas on Redacted. You might have seen that there's a glitch where you can place a spawn beacon through the wall and then spawn outside of the map and then kill people through the walls from outside of the map and even under the map. That is now fixed. And I certainly hope it is because in my estimation, there are probably multiple areas that you can do this in. I know there are still areas bugged like this even in Battlefield 4 lockers to this day. So I kind of doubt they got them all, but hopefully they fixed the main ones that were demonstrated. And lastly, in the maps and mode sections, they fixed an issue where you could become permanently stuck behind some objects in Redacted, and they fixed an issue where medical crates and ammo crates could clip through certain objects and resupply people through the wall. Moving on to the Gadget and Specialist section, there's really only one change mentioning here again. This is the 4th time they have tried to patch this thing, and the change is improved an issue where explosions could get through obstacles in the presence of smoke. I genuinely think that that is the 3rd or 4th time this specific fix has been mentioned in patches, so let's hope that, I don't know, the 4th time is the charm. And you're probably wondering, well, all these changes sound good so far. Well, then we get to the vehicle section. And this is probably going to be a controversial opinion from me, but this change right here, which I will now read to you. Quote, the Penguins have been tampering with the manufacturing processes of light air vehicles, with the Nightbird, jets, and stealth helis now vulnerable to standard bullets. End quote. This is without question one of the most rash, uninformed, unnecessary, stupid, out of touch, ridiculously unbalanced changes to any vehicle, to really anything I've ever seen in Battlefield 2042 or any Battlefield game at all. I have absolutely no doubt that they made this change because people constantly complain about the Stealth Heli and the Nightbird, okay? And to be completely honest with you, I think a lot of those complaints are not properly explained, and they're not based in reality. I think a lot of people that complain about the Nightbird and the Stealth Heli are the type of people that shoot a stinger at it for 50 fucking minutes in a match, die 27 times, and then say the Stealth Heli and Nightbird is overpowered. When the reality is, you are literally just doing the definition of insanity. You are doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. You're not trying to actually kill it in an effective manner. You're not spawning an AA gun. You're not trying to kill it with Tracer Dart Javelin. You're not hacking with RAW. You're not shooting LIST missiles at it. You're not trying to disable it with any sort of EMP. You're not trying to spawn in vehicles to counter it, such as, I don't know, maybe the other helicopters. Or like I said, Cav Brawler AA is another option. There are so many more effective options that people refuse to utilize for some reason to just consistently take out these vehicles, and then they cry that they're overpowered. And then the other side to this is people never acknowledge the skill that it takes to go on these big Nightbird and stealth heli kill streaks. It is not easy. And for some reason, people act like it is easy. They act like they can jump in it themselves and go on a 50, 60, 70 kill streak, avoiding all of the things that I just mentioned. It is incredibly difficult to go on a kill streak nowadays, especially in the stealth helicopter, because the stealth helicopter is just a gigantic, slow-moving, basically just a free TV missile kill. And on the other hand, the Nightbird is much more difficult to fly than the stealth heli, and is much more difficult to actually utilize and go on big kill streaks because it is hard to aim in the Nightbird. It is hard to use the Nightbird miniguns. It is hard to simultaneously aim and get a bunch of kills while also avoiding all the bullshit that I just mentioned. You know, Stingers, Tracer Dart Javelin, AA gun, Cav Brawler AA, List Missile, Row Hack, you know, the SoFlams, SoFlame Recoilless Rifle, the list goes on and on and on, and for some fucking reason, the DICE felt that they now need to make these vehicles damageable by small arms fire, as if the odds weren't already massively stacked against them. And something about this patch note, the way they just jokingly put it in there, pisses me the fuck off, because it shows me that whoever made this change doesn't understand the implications of what it will do to the gameplay. I mean, listen to this stupid bullshit. The Penguins have been tampering with the manufacturing process of light air vehicles. Yeah, it's so funny, bro. It's so funny when you put a patch note in the game that completely just destroys any semblance of balance or anything that makes any sense whatsoever regarding vehicle versus infantry balance. It's so funny, DICE. And then, of course, when you go look at the shit pile that is r/Battlefield 2042, what is one of the top posts on there right now? Yep. Oh, the vehicles are finally balanced. And like I said earlier, these are just a bunch of shitter-ass players that go 0-30 shooting 98 Stingers at a little bird. And they're surprised that they're not killing it. These players stand in the middle of the open, completely still, lock onto a helicopter, shoot it while it still has flares, and then they die to the helicopter, then they complain that it's overpowered. Is that not just mind-boggling? And then, to make matters even worse for the Nightbird, they nerfed its miniguns heavily. Minimum damage lowered from 10 to 8. Minimum damage drop-off will now start at 100 meters, reduced from 150. That's a 50-meter damage drop-off nerf. Minigun damage drop-off will now end at 250 meters, reduced from 300. Again, 50-meter reduction. These are not insignificant changes, and combined with the previous change I mentioned, what are we doing? Are we even playing the same game? And then you have to wonder, what is this going to do to armor-piercing rounds? Because if you remember, armor-piercing rounds were already in the game, which allowed you to damage, well, even Super Hinds and tanks and shit. So are armor-piercing rounds just going to be like a Giga version of them now, or are they going to stay the same? That is not explained in this patch. So overall, these specific changes are unbelievably out of touch and perfectly demonstrate that the people that are making these changes are either just listening to Reddit or don't play the game whatsoever at all. Now, moving on to the Tor Tank changes, the Tor Tank is essentially being made incredibly effective at both long range and close range now. They felt that they over-nerfed it in the last patch, and their goal with this patch is to make it effective in close range. The way they are trying to do this is they are giving the gunner seat a 20mm shotgun, 40mm grenade launcher, or a 7.62 minigun, on top of the fact that the driver of the Tor Tank now gets a completely unique to this vehicle close-range coaxial canister shotgun with a high rate of fire. This, honestly, has me a little bit worried, because what if they made the Tor Tank the best tank in the game now? The Tor Tank already has faster acceleration than the MBTs, it already is easier to hit long-range targets than the MBTs, and if they make it incredibly good at close quarters, why would you ever use a main battle tank over a railgun tank now? So again, I think these changes might just be a little bit uninformed, a little rash, and I don't really understand them, to be honest with you, because if you're going to have a railgun tank in the game, it's supposed to be more effective at longer ranges. You're not supposed to make it a jack of all trades because that kind of invalidates the other vehicle options in the same category. So moving on from those really controversial changes, in my opinion, and honestly just, in my opinion, negative changes, I think they made the game worse with those changes, to the weapon section. Some good changes are in this. They fixed an issue that caused the crosshairs to still drift from screen center on the MP28 and MP443. They have nerfed the armor-piercing bullets on the Advances. They have fixed the headshot multipliers on those to be in line with the actual LMG headshot multiplier. Various fixes to firing, reloading, and other weapon-related animations. They've completely redone the AEK handling and recoil. It now resets faster when you shoot the AEK, has different multipliers for the first few shots in a burst fire mode, and has overall improved recoil camera behavior. And on top of all of that, they've fixed the ADS walking speed on the RPT-31, which was for some reason slower than all of the LMGs. Now, we get into some more controversial changes here. They have nerfed the GEW-46 by a minuscule amount, but it's still a nerf. The overall accuracy for the GEW has been reduced by 5%, which I'm not sure I really understand. It definitely was super accurate, but I'm not sure it was accurate enough to warrant a nerf. On top of that, the ACWR has seen a pretty significant nerf. The ACWR has seen its 4 BTK range reduced from 30 meters all the way down to 20 meters, and it now does 22 damage out to 70 meters instead of 75, and then past 70 meters, where it previously didn't drop off, it now drops off to 18 damage. So again, I'm not sure the ACWR was in need of any changes. I felt it was fine, but they did nerf it, so what are we going to do? And that basically wraps up this video, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm sure the comment section will be filled with a bunch of comments in this video, especially because I'm talking about the Nightbird and whether or not it's overpowered and the stealth heli and all that sort of thing. I personally feel as though that these changes were heavily influenced by people just complaining on Reddit and YouTube comment sections, and I don't think these changes were actually needed, and I don't think they're good changes whatsoever. So thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Enders, and I'll see you guys later.